What if I told you that a rifle advertised as self-cleaning actually got soldiers killed? The Vietnam War was a proving ground where weapons either made history or became deadly failures. Today, we're counting down the top 8 guns that changed the Vietnam War. Number 8. Thompson Submachine Gun. Starting our list at number 8 is a gun you might not expect to see in Vietnam at all. Here are the specs. Chambered and 45 ACP. This beast weighed nearly 11 pounds unloaded. It could chew through ammunition at 600 to 700 rounds per minute from 20 or 30 round box magazines, or even 50 round drums. Its effective range was a modest 150 meters, but that wasn't the point. The Thompson was built for one thing: devastating close quarters firepower. But the Thompson submachine gun, famously wielded by gangsters in the 1920s and soldiers in World War II, was technically obsolete by the time Vietnam heated up. So why does it make our list? Despite being a relic from another era, the Thompson found new life in the streets of Hue during the Tet Offensive of 1968. Marines, desperate for stopping power and brutal urban combat, raided ARVN armories and grabbed every Thompson they could find. Why? Because when you're clearing rooms and facing enemies at arm's length, nothing says game over quite like a .45 caliber round. The ammunition was everywhere, easy to source, and soldiers trusted it. The Thompson's reliability and sheer knockdown power made it a favorite long after newer weapons had supposedly replaced it. It proved that sometimes old school is the best, especially when lives are on the line. Number 7. L1A1 Self-Loading Rifle. At number 7, we have a weapon that might not be as famous as others on this list, but don't let that fool you. The L1A1 Self-Loading Rifle was the weapon of choice for Australian and New Zealand forces in Vietnam, and it earned its place through rugged reliability. This rifle was a variant of the legendary FN-FAL, chambered in 7.62 by 51mm NATO. It featured a 20-round box magazine and boasted an effective range of 700 meters. That's nearly twice the range of many other weapons used in the jungle. The L1A1 was gas-operated and semi-automatic only, no full auto spray and pray here. This forced discipline and accuracy, qualities that Australian soldiers used to devastating effect in ambushes and long-range engagements. What made the L1A1 special was its adaptability to jungle warfare. The design was robust enough to handle mud, humidity, and the constant abuse of combat operations. While American troops sometimes struggled with finicky rifles, the Aussies and Kiwis could count on their L1A1s to fire every single time. It represented a different philosophy of warfare: precision over volume, reliability over innovation. And in the unforgiving environment of Vietnam, that philosophy saved lives. Number 6. M1 Carbine. Coming in at number 6 is a gun that many people overlook, but it played a massive role in Vietnam. The M1 Carbine was distributed by the thousands to ARVN forces, U.S. troops, and Allied units throughout the war. Let's talk numbers. Weighing just over 5 pounds, this was one of the lightest rifles in the conflict. Chambered in .30 caliber carbine, it used 15 or 30 round magazines and had an effective range of about 200 meters. It was semi-automatic with a short-stroke piston system that was dead simple to operate. The M1 Carbine's greatest strength was its maneuverability. In the dense jungle where engagements often happened at spitting distance, a lightweight, handy rifle was worth its weight in gold. You could swing it fast, carry it all day without exhaustion, and keep it running with minimal maintenance. But here's the catch. The .30 caliber carbine round wasn't exactly a powerhouse. It lacked the stopping power of larger rounds, which meant sometimes it took multiple hits to drop an enemy combatant. This led to mixed feelings among troops. Still, its reliability in harsh conditions and ease of use made it a staple, especially among South Vietnamese forces who needed weapons they could maintain with limited resources. The M1 Carbine was a workhorse that kept fighting long after flashier guns had jammed or broken down. Number 5. SKS Rifle. At number 5, we're switching sides. The SKS Rifle was a mainstay of North Vietnamese Army and Viet Cong forces, and it represented Soviet engineering at its most practical. The SKS fired the 7.62 by 39mm round, the same cartridge used by the AK-47. It weighed about 8.8 pounds and featured a fixed 10-round magazine. Its effective range was roughly 400 meters, and it was gas-operated and semi-automatic. Now, you might wonder why the SKS deserves a spot when the AK-47 was also available. Here's why. The SKS was simpler and cheaper to produce. For guerrilla forces operating on shoestring budgets, every dollar mattered. The SKS could be manufactured quickly, requiring less training to use effectively, and came with an attached bayonet for close quarters fighting. Thousands of these rifles flooded into Vietnam from China and the Soviet Union. While it didn't have the firepower or rate of the AK, it was accurate, dependable, and deadly in the hands of a trained soldier. The SKS symbolized the resourcefulness of North Vietnamese forces. They didn't need the fanciest equipment, they just needed weapons that worked, and the SKS delivered every time. Number 4. M14 Rifle. Now we're entering the heavy hitters. At number 4 is the M14 Rifle, the predecessor to the M16, and a weapon that many Marines flat out refused to give up. The M14 was chambered in the powerful 7.62 by 51mm NATO round. It weighed over 9 pounds unloaded, used a 20-round magazine, and could fire at 7 to 750 rounds per minute in full auto mode. Its effective range was 500 meters, and it was built on a gas-operated rotating bolt system. This rifle packed a punch. The 7.62 round had serious stopping power and range, making it ideal for open terrain and long-distance engagements. Many soldiers loved it for its accuracy and the confidence it gave them in a firefight. But there was a problem. Vietnam wasn't open terrain. The M14 was heavy, unwieldy in dense jungle, and its full auto mode was nearly uncontrollable. Soldiers carrying it through thick vegetation quickly discovered that lighter was better. Despite these drawbacks, the M14 remained in use throughout the war, particularly with snipers and designated marksmen who valued its range and power. It represented old-school military thinking. Big bullet, big rifle, big impact. And for those who mastered it, the M14 was absolutely devastating. Number 3. M60 Machine Gun. Breaking into our top 3 is the legendary M60 Machine Gun, affectionately nicknamed the Pig by the soldiers who carried it. The M60 was a belt-fed beast chambered in 7.62 by 51mm NATO. It weighed 23 pounds, not including ammunition, and could fire at 550 rounds per minute. Its effective range stretched out to 1,100 meters. This was the primary squad automatic weapon for U.S. forces, providing the heavy firepower needed to suppress enemy positions and turn the tide of firefights. Whether mounted on helicopters, jeeps, or carried by infantry, the M60 was everywhere. The versatility of the M60 can't be overstated. It could fire tracer rounds to mark targets, incendiary rounds to set the jungle ablaze, and standard ball ammunition to tear through enemy positions. In the chaos of a jungle ambush, the distinctive sound of an M60 opening up was often the difference between victory and defeat. But carrying the M60 was no joke. The gun itself was heavy, but the real burden was the ammunition. Belt after belt of 7.62 rounds added up fast. M60 gunners became high-priority targets for the enemy because taking out the machine gun could swing an entire battle. Despite its weight and the danger it invited, soldiers who carried the M60 became legends in their units. This gun represented raw, overwhelming firepower, and in the jungles of Vietnam, firepower was survival. Number 2. AK-47. At number 2, we have perhaps the most iconic assault rifle ever created, the AK-47. This was the weapon of choice for North Vietnamese and Viet Cong forces, and its impact on the war cannot be overstated. The AK-47 fired the 7.62 by 39 mm round from a 30-round magazine. It weighed 8.3 pounds unloaded, at a rate of fire of 600 rounds per minute, and an effective range of 350 meters. It was gas-operated with a rotating bolt and featured select fire capability. But the real magic of the AK-47 wasn't in the specs, it was in the design philosophy. This rifle was built to be idiot-proof. It used stamped steel instead of expensive machining. It had loose tolerances that allowed it to function even when caked in mud and required almost zero maintenance. Soviet and Chinese factories cranked out tens of thousands of these rifles and shipped them to North Vietnam. Guerrilla fighters who had never held a gun before could learn to use an AK-47 in minutes. It was the perfect weapon for an insurgency. American soldiers quickly learned to respect the sound of an AK opening up. While the M16 might jam into humidity and dirt, the AK-47 just kept firing. It became a symbol of the resilience and determination of the North Vietnamese forces. The AK-47 proved that simplicity and reliability trump sophistication in real combat. It's still in use today all over the world, a testament to its revolutionary design. Number 1. M16 Rifle. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. At number 1, a rifle that changed everything, the M16. The M16 became the standard service rifle for U.S. forces and is widely regarded as the game changer of the Vietnam War. But its journey to legendary status was anything but smooth. Let's start with the specs. The M16 was chambered in 5.6 by 45 mm NATO, a smaller, lighter round than previous rifles. It weighed just 6.37 pounds unloaded, used 20 or 30 round magazines, and could fire at 700 to 950 rounds per minute. Its effective range was 550 meters, and it was gas-operated with a rotating bolt. The technological innovations were groundbreaking. Instead of traditional wood, the M16 used aluminum and plastics, making it incredibly lightweight. It had select fire capability, meaning soldiers could choose between semi-automatic precision or full auto suppression. The 5.56 round was designed to tumble and fragment inside the body, causing devastating wounds. Soldiers could carry far more ammunition than with heavier rifles like the M14, and the light weight meant less fatigue during long patrols through the jungle. On paper, the M16 was perfect, but in reality, it was a disaster at first. Wonder why? The rifle was rushed into combat with a fatal flaw. It was advertised as self-cleaning and shipped without cleaning kits. This wasn't just a mistake, it was a lie that cost American lives. Soldiers in the field watched helplessly as their M16s jammed during firefights. Carbon buildup and corrosion seized the actions, leaving men defenseless against enemy fire. Letters home from soldiers described the horror of pulling the trigger and hearing nothing but a click while bullets flew at them. The scandal exploded when families of dead soldiers demanded answers. Congressional investigations revealed that the military had known about the rifle's maintenance requirements, but ignored them just to rush deployment. Eventually, the M16 was redesigned. Cleaning kits were issued, chrome-lined barrels and chambers were added, and proper training was implemented. The rifle that had been a death trap became one of the most reliable and effective weapons in American military history. The M16's high rate of fire and light weight made it ideal for the fast-moving, close-range firefights of jungle warfare. Soldiers could react faster, carry more ammo, and sustain fire longer than the enemy. Despite its troubled beginning, the M16 proved that innovation in warfare requires not just good design, but good implementation. It became a symbol of adaptation, of learning from catastrophic failure and emerging stronger. The M16 didn't just change the Vietnam War. It changed the entire philosophy of infantry small arms. Lighter calibers, higher capacity, modular design. These concepts all flowed from the lessons learned with the M16 in Vietnam. Today, variants of the M16 and its successor, the M4, remain in service worldwide. From a scandal that nearly destroyed faith in the military's procurement system to a weapon that redefined modern warfare, the M16's journey is nothing short of remarkable. So here's my question for you. If you were a soldier in Vietnam, which of these 8 guns would you have wanted by your side? Drop your answer in the comments below. And if you found this deep dive into military history fascinating, hit that subscribe button so you never miss our next video.